All right. Hello, hello. My name is Jose Raimundo, and I'm the first negative. Throughout the course of American history, controversies over life and death seem to arise almost instantaneously. The issue of the death penalty is often seen as a way to clean out the scum of the streets. However, some may argue that this form of capital punishment is cruel and way too expensive and constitutionally unjust. We cannot change the actions of certain people within our world, and therefore we must act to punish those who have taken away the liberties of other citizens and in extreme cases take their life. The first issue within the death penalty is the motive behind the act. Whether it is revenge or retribution, a person must receive what is due to him. The criminal may take away the victim's liberties, peace, and life. A deserved punishment protects society's moral code by restoring the just order, making the wrongdoer pay a price equivalent to the harm he has done. Retribution is also the primary purpose of just punishment. If nothing is done to the criminal receives undeserved benefits from his actions, so a rightful punishment is in need. The next dispute within this topic is the fiscal portion. Is life in prison more expensive than the death penalty? Some people would argue that how it costs the state millions of dollars, but according to Mountain News, the current annual cost for maintaining an inmate in a state prison is $47,102. Another point is that people do not take into regard that the inmate's age within the prison. That as prisoners age and become infirm, they can cost taxpayers 2 or 3 times as much to house and care for as younger, healthy prisoners, as the California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation reports. An example of this is Jonathan C. Holman and Samuel C. Wright, both convicted recently in a 9-year-old Lake Arrowhead double murder. They both are 31 years of age. Using the legislative analysis numbers, if both were sentenced to life and parole, without parole, and lived to the age of 65, the 34-year cost of housing, feeding, and keeping them secure would amount to $1.598 million apiece, without factoring in the effects of inflation. In addition, California housed 4,805 inmates, 60 and older, at the end of 2007, about 3% of all prisoners. So 3% of all prisoners, you have to pay twice to 3 times as much, depending on the condition. My opposition would argue how the death penalty is costing the state and the nation a hefty amount. But according to the Mountain News, $12,442 is used to supply them with health care. $7,214 for prisoners, for prison operations like maintenance and record keeping. $3,493 for administration. $2,562 to feed the inmates, clothe them, and provide activities for them, including spiritual programs. $1,612 for rehabilitation programs, and $116 in miscellaneous costs for just a single person. Now double that amount if the inmate is 60 or older, since they have been sentenced with life in prison without parole. The next dispute within this topic is the fact that it is constitutionally allowed. The death penalty does not exhibit pain towards the accused and therefore cannot be deemed as an act of torture. Furthermore, the 8th Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. According to the website thenation.com, well, let's take these 2 terms into account. Cruel is taken to mean excessively painful and or brutal. Unusual has generally been understood to mean a punishment that is not usually associated with a particular crime, but which is nonetheless applied arbitrarily in some cases. So by putting these 2 terms together, cruel and unusual would suggest that punishments should be proportionate to the crime that was committed. So if I say a man raped, beat, and murdered a woman, would he not deserve to have a seat on death row? Furthermore, the Supreme Court has never stated that the 8th Amendment completely rules out the use of the death penalty. The 5th Amendment guarantees that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The clear implication is that depriving someone of his or her life is permissible under the Constitution. There simply is just crimes which are such an affront to human decency and the norms of society that an individual who commits them surrenders his or her right to live.